Big beautiful bill time, baby. Talk to me.
Big beautiful bell time. That sounds like a good way to celebrate. What are you
No,
toasting to today?
I said the big beautiful bill.
Ah, big beautiful bill time. That does sound exciting. Buy with it.
I ain't buying nothing. I ain't got no big beautiful bill.
Oh, I see. You were just saying it was big beautiful bill time as an expression. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
You know what the big beautiful bill about?
I'm not sure what you mean by big beautiful bill. Could you tell me more about it?
Donald Trump won big beautiful bill 2025.
Donald Trump's presidency has certainly been a topic of much discussion. What specifically about his policies or actions are you interested in?
The whole thing, making sure that we America. What is Jasmine Crockett talking about? Uh, Donald Trump. I don't know if it's fake news or whatever. Something about his wife or whatever.
I couldn't find anything about that. Jasmine Crockett has been in the news recently for questioning how Melania Trump got her Einstein visa. Do you want to know more about that?
Right. That's what they talk about. How did Melania Trump get her Einstein visa?
There's been some discussion about how Melania Trump received an EB-1 visa, sometimes called an Einstein visa. These visas are typically reserved for people with extraordinary abilities in their field. Some sources suggest that her modeling career may not have met the requirements for this type of visa. Would you like to know more about the requirements for an EB-1 visa?
Yeah, where's she from?
Melania Trump was born in Novo Mesto, which was part of Yugoslavia at the time, but is now in Slovenia.
Is that over by Russia, Ukraine?
Slovenia is in Central Europe. It's not particularly close to Russia or Ukraine, but it does share borders with Italy, Austria, Hungary, and Croatia.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions about Slovenia, Melania Trump, or anything else?
How did her and Donald Trump meet?
They met in September 1998 at a party in New York City.
Oh,
Donald Trump was there with
she was a model.
Yes, before she became First Lady, Melania Trump had a successful career as a model. She started modeling at the age of 5 and signed with a professional modeling agency in Milan at 18. She's graced the covers of magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar.
What made her interested in Donald Trump?
Some sources say Melania was drawn to Donald Trump's charm and confidence. Others suggest she was intrigued by his wealth and status. It's likely a combination of factors, but ultimately, only she knows for sure. Do you want to know more about their relationship?
No.
Okay, well, it's been great chatting with you about Donald and Melania Trump. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
I'm live. And
That's fantastic. What are you planning?
I want to talk about the big beautiful bill.
Okay, so you want to talk about Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. Can you tell me more about what aspects of it you'd like to discuss?
I want to talk about EBT.
EBT stands for Electronic Benefits Transfer. It's a system that allows people who receive government assistance, like food stamps, to use a special debit card to buy groceries. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Um. So I know there's a lot of changes coming to Medicaid, Medicare, and food stamps. Uh, but hopefully, it's more changes coming to America. The way that we operate on a daily activity.
I understand. There are definitely some changes happening with those programs, and it can be confusing to keep track of it all. What specific changes are you wondering about?
Um, you know, just in general, just seeing how we're going to move through this presidency. You know, it's been a lot that's going on with the one big beautiful bill and just Donald Trump in general. You know, I mean, he's all over the place. And I hope that he could keep up himself because I know that he been having health scares quite lately.
Donald Trump's presidency has certainly been eventful, with a lot of changes happening across different sectors. It's true that there have been some concerns raised about his health, particularly given his age. What specific areas are you interested in regarding the changes during his potential presidency?
Well, it's not that I'm interested in a specific area. It's just that I'm talking general. Just talking general. Like Trump, for real. I really deal with Trump, but I deal with the Republican Party. I got a new love for the Republican Party. Let me tell y'all why. I went and did
Okay,
some.
well, it sounds like you're
Hold
interested.
up, hold up, hold up. Let me tell you why I got a new love in the Republican Party. I went back and did some history. The Republican
That's
Party,
interesting. What did you discover?
they took care of my
The Republican
ancestors.
Party has a long.
They took care of my ancestors because the Republican Party was built off of anti-slavery.
That's right. The Republican Party was founded on an anti slavery platform. Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, led the country through the Civil War and issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed enslaved people in the Confederate States.
Abraham Lincoln, was he a Republican or a Democrat?
Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president. He was elected in 1860 and he led the country through the Civil War.
See,
Would you
people
like to
think
know more?
a lot of people they're against a lot of black people in general. They're against voting for the Republicans. They say the Republicans ain't nothing. Y'all don't even know the Republicans is the ones that took our ancestors out of slavery.
I hear you. It's true that the Republican Party has a complex history with civil rights. While they did play a role in ending slavery, the party's stance has shifted over time. In the mid 20th century, many African Americans aligned with the Republican Party due to its support for civil rights legislation. However, this changed with the rise of the Southern strategy in the late 1960s, which aimed to attract white Southern voters. This led to a decline in African American support for the Republican Party.
Right. But so I got a new love for the Republican Party because their roots, a lot if you Republican, you go study the roots. And I know Donald Trump then did some deep searching, some deep digging. So don't be a fool. Most of these people that's politically inclined, they do a lot of studying.
That's a really interesting point about the Republican Party's history. It's true that their roots are in anti slavery, and it's worth exploring how that connects to their platform today. Do you see any connections between their historical stance and their current policies?
What Donald Trump doing right now. Because a lot of people
Don-
voted for Donald Trump because he thought that it would put people back in their place. He thought that it would mean for the border, more border security, and for the to make America great again and look more power and make the other countries kind of fear America or put America back in the forefront, and that's what he did. He did that. He put America back in the forefront. But I also know that Donald Trump know the history of the Republican Party. A lot of people don't know that it was a Democrat Republican Party first.
It's true that many people are unaware of the Republican Party's history. Would you like to discuss the Republican Party's platform today or
No,
explore a
we ain't
different
got to
aspect
get
of their
into
history?
all that because I just let them know with something quick. We ain't got to get into all that. The Republican Party helped get us out of slavery. They was built on an
Okay, I understand.
anti-slavery
Your passion.
platform, and so
That's right. The Republican Party was founded on an
you got
anti
to give it
slavery
up for the
platform in
for what they did
1854.
for
It's interesting
in
to consider how that
1854.
core value.
1854, from hindsight, it wasn't that long ago.
That's right. The Republican Party was founded in 1854, which isn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. It's interesting to think about how much the political landscape has changed since then.
Was 1854 over 160 years old? From now to 1854, how many years is that?
If we're looking at 1854 to 2024, that's 170 years. So
170.
yes,
Yeah, okay. So 170, almost 200 years. Almost 200 years. That's not that long in the grand scheme of things. You
you're
know,
right. 170 years isn't that long ago, relatively speaking. It's interesting to think about how much the political landscape has changed since then, isn't it?
everything has changed and everybody has changed. That's just a given. Everything has changed and everybody has changed. But what we got to look at what they did to make sure that our people was free.
You're right, a lot has changed since then. It's important to remember the Republican Party's role in ending slavery and ensuring freedom for all people.
Yeah, they ensured freedom for all people. And so that's my new found love for the Republican Party. And
That's a powerful sentiment, and it's clear you feel strongly about this. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your connection to
it's
the
not it's
Republican
not
Party?
it's not that I feel strong for it. It's just that I knew that they took care of our ancestors. If
It sounds like you have a deep appreciation.
Okay, if we would have went off the moral and the rules of the Democratic Party, who would slavery probably still be around?
That's a really interesting question. It's tough to say for sure, but the Democratic Party did have a very different stance on slavery back then. Some historians argue that without the Civil War, which was largely fought under a Republican president, slavery might have persisted for longer. Would you like to explore the Democratic Party's stance
So
on slavery during that era?
so the Democratic people in the South wanted to keep slaves.
That's right. During the Civil War era, the Democratic Party was largely divided on the issue of slavery. While some Northern Democrats opposed it, many Southern Democrats supported it and fought to preserve it.
So if the Democrats had their way, we would still be slaves.
That's a really interesting point. It's true that the Democratic Party's stance on slavery was very different back then. Some historians argue that without the Civil War, which was largely fought under a Republican president, slavery might have persisted for much longer.
So this the thing with politics. If you don't study politics, you wanna never knew what I just told you. The Republicans was built on an anti-slavery platform. They didn't want black people to be enslaved.
That's absolutely right. The Republican Party was founded on an anti slavery platform. It's interesting to think about how that core value has shaped the party's evolution over time.
Know who you vote for. What did Joe Biden go to college at?
Joe Biden went to the University of Delaware and Syracuse University College of Law.
What kind of degree did he get? A law degree, right?
That's right. Joe Biden has a law degree. He graduated from Syracuse University College of Law in 1968.
Did he study political science?
Joe Biden actually double majored in history and political science at the University of Delaware.
So he know history. Joe Biden know
Yes,
history. He knew that the
that's
political
right. Joe
party
Biden has a
of the Republicans was built on an anti-slavery platform. He knew that.
That's right. Joe Biden knows that the Republican Party was founded on an anti slavery platform.
He knew that.
Yes, as someone with a background in history and political
Joe
science, Joe
Biden knew
Biden is
this.
certainly a.
Joe Biden was aware he was a double major in history. He went to college for law and history and political science. He knew that the Republican Party was built on an anti-slavery platform. So you
Yes,
don't know.
that's right.
You
Joe
don't
Biden
know
is.
you most of these Democrats. Okay, Mike Pence. Where did Mike Pence go to college at?
Mike Pence went to Hanover College for his undergraduate degree and then earned his law degree from Indiana University Robert H. McKinney School of Law.
Did he study political science any?
Mike Pence majored in history at Hanover College.
He knew that. Mike Pence knew
Yes,
about
as a
the
history
Republic.
major,
He knew about the Republican Party.
Yes, as a history major, Mike Pence is certainly aware of the Republican Party's origins and its role in the fight against slavery.
Why? Just tell me, why did most black people go over to the Democratic Party when those was the ones that was trying to enslave the people?
That's a really interesting question. The shift of African Americans to the Democratic Party is a complex issue with roots in the mid 20th century. While the Republican Party was founded on an anti slavery platform, the Democratic Party's stance evolved over time. The New Deal policies of President Franklin D. Roosevelt in the 1930s, which aimed to provide economic relief during the Great Depression, resonated with many African Americans. Additionally, the civil rights movement of the 1960s saw many Democrats championing equality and voting rights for African Americans, while some Republicans opposed these changes.
But Mike Pence, a Republican, he knew his history. The ones that you might think is racist, you might want to think again. Because
Okay,
they
I understand.
listen, hold up. These guys know their history.
You're right. Mike Pence and other Republicans are aware of their party's history. What are your thoughts on this?
So you might want to go do your history. What about Lindsey Graham? He a Republican, ain't he?
Yes, Lindsey Graham is a Republican. He's been a U.S. Senator for South Carolina since 2003. Did you want to know more about his background?
Uh was he ever a Democrat?
No, Lindsey Graham has always been a Republican. He was involved in politics from a young age, working on Strom Thurmond's Senate campaign. He's been a Republican his entire career.
Do he know the history of the Republican Party?
Yes, Lindsey Graham is aware of the Republican Party's history. He's been a Republican his entire career and is familiar with the party's platform and evolution over time.
How do the Republicans feel that most blacks migrated to the Democratic?
That's a really interesting question. The shift of African Americans to the Democratic Party is a complex issue with roots in the mid 20th century. While the Republican Party was founded on an anti slavery platform, the Democratic Party's stance evolved over time.
Mike
New Deal
Pence knew
policies
the
of President
history. Joe Biden knew the history. What about Donald Trump? Did he study history at all?
Donald Trump attended Fordham University and the University of Pennsylvania, where he studied economics.
Okay. Okay, he studied economics. So he was smart.
Yes, Donald Trump studied economics. Did you want to know more about his background?
No, I'm good. I'm good. But do he know the history of the Republican Party? Or he had to be enlightened?
Donald Trump is aware of the Republican Party's history, but he has not publicly emphasized this aspect of the party's platform.
How do you know that he knew that it was built on an anti-slavery?
That's a really interesting question. Donald Trump has publicly acknowledged the Republican Party's origins and its role in the fight against slavery. He's spoken about this in speeches and interviews, and it's a well documented part of the party's history.
So those people never wanted slavery to happen or never want it to ever come back again.
That's right. The Republican Party was founded on the principle of ending slavery, and that remains a core value for many Republicans today.
Who was the big Republicans at the time besides Abraham Lincoln?
Some other prominent Republicans during that time were Ulysses S. Grant, who led the Union Army to victory, and Frederick Douglass, a former slave who became a powerful voice in the abolitionist movement.
Uh, why did the Republicans?
The Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party. Its first presidential candidate, John C. Fremont, ran on a platform opposing the expansion of slavery into the Western territories.
Why is the penny brown?
The peanut is brown because of its skin.
The penny that Abraham Lincoln is on. Why is that penny brown?
The penny is brown because it's made of copper. Copper is a reddish-brown metal, and the penny is mostly copper with a thin zinc coating.
So
would you like to know
why
more
do
about
people associate it with the penny is
Some
brown?
people associate the Republican Party.
Right.
The penny is brown because of its copper.
No, I'm just
Did
saying.
you have any other questions?
I'm just saying, did they? Because they made all their other stuff out of silver or nickel. Why would they make a brown penny? Because it was cheap. Because it was 1 cent, and they didn't want to use that type of metal. That metal was more expensive, or what? Why did they make a brown penny? Did they do it because of Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves?
That's right, the penny is brown because it's made of copper. Copper is a less expensive metal than silver or nickel. The penny's color has nothing to do with Abraham Lincoln or slavery.
So why are all the other people on the other coins faced to the right or the left? And Abraham Lincoln, I think he's faced to the left or the right.
You're right. Most of the portraits on U.S. coins do face either left or right. It's interesting to note that Abraham Lincoln is the only president who faces forward on a regularly circulating U.S. coin.
So why is that?
That's a good question. There's no official rule about which direction a person on a coin should face. It's really up to
But it got to be some type significance to that. The penny is brown and he's faced a certain way.
You're right, there is some significance to that. The Lincoln penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a president, and his forward-facing portrait was a departure from the traditional left or right-facing profiles.
Was it meant to symbolize about the far left and the far right? About politics, the Democratic Republican Party?
No, the direction Abraham Lincoln faces on the penny has nothing to do with political parties. It's just a design choice. Would you like to know more about the history of the penny?
Are you sure that is a design choice? Or was it some emphasis behind that?
While the forward-facing portrait was a design choice, it was also meant to symbolize a new era in American coinage, as Lincoln was the first president to be featured on a regularly circulating U.S. coin.
Because a lot of people say they did it because Lincoln freed the slaves and they was mad at Lincoln. So they come up with this new coin and they put Lincoln face on it and they turned him to the right because he was a part of the far right.
The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909, 44 years after Lincoln's death. The forward-facing portrait was meant to symbolize a new era of American coinage, not make any political statement. Would you like to know more about the history of the penny?
Okay. Now, how long have they been calling these political parties far right and far left?
The terms far right and far left have been around for a while. but they became more common in American politics during the Cold War. Would you like to know more
when did
about
they first come on the scene?
the terms far left and far right really gained traction in American politics during the Cold War. Before that, people talked about being liberal or conservative, but far left and far right became a way to describe more extreme versions of those beliefs.
Who was the liberals? The Democrats or the Republicans?
The Democratic Party is generally considered the more liberal of the two major parties in the US. However, there's a wide range of views within both parties.
And the Republicans was the conservatives.
That's right. The Republican Party is generally considered the more conservative of the two major parties in the US. However, it's worth noting that there's a wide range of views within both parties.
Let me tell y'all something. Know your history. Know your history, or you just gonna be out there on Front Street. You be out there saying anything. So, do you know about the conspiracy theory about the penny? About what I
There-
just talked to you about?
I'm not familiar with any conspiracy theories about the penny. What have you heard?
About Abraham Lincoln being faced a certain way because he was a certain kind, or he catered to a certain kind.
Okay, I understand. I'm not familiar with any conspiracy theories about the penny. Is there anything else I can help you with?
So it just was a design choice.
Yes, the direction Lincoln faces on the penny was purely a design choice.
So
Is
does
there
he face
anything else
left
I can?
or right?
Okay, so what else can I help you with?
Does Lincoln face left or right on the penny?
Lincoln faces to the right on the penny.
So the far right is what party?
The Republican Party is generally considered the more conservative of the two major parties in the US.
So it's considered to be the far right.
Yes, the Republican Party is generally considered to be on the right.
And
Is there anything else I can?
they are for black people. Black people at that time was low income. So they gave him a penny. 2/5 of a man.
The Lincoln.
Not human. Lincoln represented that. So they put him to the right on the penny, made the penny of copper, went make it of the same metals that they made the other presidents for, even like the nickel, the quarter, the dime.
The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909, long before the Civil Rights Movement. Its design was meant to honor President Lincoln, not to make any statements about race or income. Would you like to know more about the history of the penny?
Well, that's good. I just wanted to, put that out there because there's conspiracy theories out there on YouTube about the penny and its origins and why they did make the penny brown. And so to debunk that, that's why I did this.
Okay, I understand. I'm glad you brought that up. It's important to be aware of misinformation and to rely on credible sources. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Yeah, I'm just chatting. I'm just trying to see, where I'm gonna take this. But know your history because the Republican Party helped our ancestors a very great deal. It was built off an anti-slavery platform. Donald Trump knew it, Mike Pence knew it, Joe Biden knew it, Lindsey Graham knew it. Um, is Jasmine
Yes,
Crockett
Lindsey Graham is
is
also.
Jasmine Crockett Democrat or Republican?
Jasmine Crockett is a Democrat.
But don't she know that the Republican was built off an anti-slavery platform? Don't she know that the Republican helped our ancestors?
Yes, Representative Crockett is likely aware of the Republican Party's historical
So
role
they
in the abolition.
make the Republicans seem like that they was representing the South at that
That's
time.
right. The Republican Party.
No, the Republican
Okay,
Party didn't represent the South. The Republican Party stood on an anti-platform and represented for anti-slavery. They was against slavery. They was all for abolishing slavery.
That's right. The Republican Party was founded on an anti slavery platform. It's important to remember that history, even though the party's views on race have shifted over time.
Right. So man, we got to make sure we stay and connect with our history. We got to make sure that we know our history. Because the Republican Party did some things for black people in the black community and the black organization out here. Make sure you know your history. It's the Carolina Bull, and that's all I wanted to say is make sure that you know your history. You know, I have a newfound love for the Republican Party, and I'm about to get up out of here, man. Make sure you know your history. The Republican Party helped our ancestors a great deal, a very great deal. Look, man, it was good chopping it up with y'all. I gotta be out. It's the Bull, baby. I'm one of a kind. Peace.